Okay, guys, you fall asleep in 1995 and you wake up this morning and discover that you have white person syndrome. Okay, guys, yes, it's not a joke. The Irish government have, in all their woke wisdom, hired a lady called Ebon Joseph as Ireland's special rapporteur for racism. They have given Ebon Joseph to 100,000 euro, 100,000 euro stipend over 4 years to find racism in Ireland and to tackle it. And as part of this, she has set up a podcast and it's called The Deep Table. And I'm going to play for you 2 clips. One, which is a crazy clip. And the second one is an even crazier clip where she and her panel talk about the Irish people having white person syndrome. But the first clip I'm going to play you is this one. It's just ridiculous, crazy stuff. Wait till you see.
Say, oh, there's no racism in Ireland. I said, okay, just, when I'm doing some training, I said, okay, just imagine, right, that as you're leaving this room now, something is going to happen and you're going to be zapped. But you have a choice. You can choose now or you get zapped on your way out. So the choice is that on your way out, you can either choose to become a black person or you can choose to become a traveler. But if you don't choose, when you get to that door, something will zap you. And whatever you get, you are going to, and it's not like a social experiment. You can't take it off after 2 hours. That becomes your true identity. So when people say there's no racism in Ireland, so I tell them, I say, so imagine now you get zapped and you become a traveler or a black person. How do you think that would impact on your life? That's the question I ask. I say, you say there's no racism. Now tell me truly, how do you think that will impact on your life?
Now, I'm sorry, you could give, you could give junior infants the task of being the special rapporteur for anything, and they would come up with something far more superior than zapping people, playing a game about zapping people, going out of a room. Is this really a good use of Irish taxpayers' money? Is it really a good use? Is she coming up with great ideas for the 100,000 euro stipend she's been given? I'll let you decide that. Now, we're going to play a little bit about white person syndrome, which she seems to have diagnosed. This is the problem with 82% of the nation who have started to call out immigration. And supposedly, or apparently, also our government right now are saying that there's far too many immigrants in the country. So is she saying that they are all, is Jim O'Callaghan suffering from white person syndrome? Micheál Martin? I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Listen to it, though. Listen to her and her panel talking about it.
Today, we're going to be looking at a topic that is far overdue, and it's called the white person syndrome. It's a topic that can be challenging sometimes, but it's a topic that I think that we really need to look at. We need to talk about space, because one of the things we talk about in inclusion, we say make space, don't take space. However, when we look at the numbers of ethnic minorities, there's not enough to take those spaces so we do still need, I say like the civil rights movement worked because black, white, green, blue, yellow, everybody came together to make it work. So I argue that I didn't create racism, so it's your job to fix it, right?
But very, very important to have these kinds of conversations because if you look at where Ireland is going, sometimes I really get scared, And we all know that Ireland is becoming more diverse, and with that comes a lot of pushback from some people who feel like people are invading their land. And, we've seen that with the series of protests we've had in the past few months, and, there's this anti-migrant sentiment. And I think it stems from the fact that a lot of people don't understand where some of these migrants are coming from. They don't understand why they're here. They don't understand, what they're here for. And there is a gap in terms of communication between, the traditional white Irish people and others who are here. Because a lot of people feel like, you come into Ireland, you're coming to just take away, But if you understand people, you understand their cultures, you understand, that they are actually coming here to make a living, it will help you. So I think a lot of people need some sort of education. We need to talk to ourselves more. That's lacking right now. So because if we allow the quiet few to keep talking, because I believe those people who have some of this syndrome, or who are anti-migrants, for example, they're few, but they're very loud. So we have to find a way to quieten them, and that comes from education, that comes from conversations.
No, mister, they're not few. The last poll, 82% of the people of Ireland say immigration is too high. Our government are now telling us that we are correct. It is too high. So we're not a few. The voices are not a few. The white person syndrome doesn't exist. And the fact that this lady, Yvonne Joseph, has got this job and this title and this money will tell her that racism doesn't exist in Ireland. The very fact that she has the job and the title and the money will tell her that Ireland is not a racist country. And the reason I know that Ireland is not a racist country is because there are so many immigrants here. The whole thing is insane. The whole mass immigration project is insane. And an article came out during the week as well, and it was very, very, very upsetting. 300,000 families across Ireland cannot celebrate Christmas this year because they don't have any money. In fact, their choice, if their children are to get presents, their choice is to use the heating money, the money for the heating bill. That's where people are. And the Irish government think it was wise to give this lady €100,000 to come up with crap, zapping people, setting up a podcast, talking nonsense, accusing the Irish of having white person syndrome. This is crap. Crap. Nonsense. As I said, if you fell asleep in 1995 and woke up and heard all that crap, what would you think? You'd think it was some sort of comedy show. And that's the way we're going to have to look at it until it's all sorted one day and the woke gravy train comes to an end. We're going to have to look at it as a comedy show, because that's the only way you can get through hard times, is humour and laugh. So that's the way I'm going to look at it anyway, because it's absolutely mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. How anyone thinks this is normal. This is crazy. And there you have then the likes of Gary Gannon. Once again, the Social Democrats prancing around our television sets, talking absolute nonsense as well. We had Holly Kieran say there was Irish committed more crime than immigrants when they tell us the data is not collected. So how could she possibly know? We covered that in the last video. And we have Gary Gannon, her colleague, on TV the other night. I'll play you what he said. I will play you what he said. The madness continues, guys.
Who has availed of some form of welfare entitlement that may affect their citizenship. So all of a sudden we have Jim O'Callaghan there today saying, if you've benefited from some sort of welfare entitlement, so say if you came here from some war-torn country, you're traumatised, you may have lost a limb, and you're not now available for a disability payment. Does that affect your capacity to get...
Well, he didn't actually specify what...
So, Gary Gannon, how many one-legged migrants do you have in your constituency? I don't see any in my area. And you told us that they were all coming to work anyway. How many one-legged migrants and one-armed migrants are going around the place? And you said that Ireland would collapse without them. This is the nonsense. Pulling on heartstrings on national TV, and the presenter doesn't even ask him these things. And the backdrop to that little piece from Gary Gannon was that Minister O'Callaghan has said that he's going to start charging people who live in these IPAS luxury apartments, who work alongside Irish people, say in a supermarket, and get the exact same wages. They are living rent-free, all food, all expenses paid, all bills, all heating bills, all lighting, all everything whatever other things they get, driving lessons or whatever. It's just like an all-inclusive life. And they still, up to now, have not been charged. Heather Humphreys told us a year and a half ago that was going to happen. Jim O'Callaghan is still talking that it might happen. And here we have people, lefties like Gary Gannon, having fits on the television, telling people that what will the one-legged people do? What will the one-legged immigrants that come to the country do? Stop. Stop the nonsense. Gary Gannon, Social Democrats, People Before Profit, the whole lot of them. It's all absolute bizarre. It is bizarre. And Gary Gannon, I'm sure, saw that headline that I saw about the 300,000 families who won't be celebrating Christmas. Did he even flinch? Did he shed a tear? Did he think, hang on, I better not go on television then and lobby for the people living in these luxury apartments to not pay anything? And by the way, they're only talking about 10 to 40% of their wages. So when you don't have bills to pay and rent to pay and lighting and heating and food and driving lessons and shoes and clothing, what does it matter what percentage of your wages is taken? This is the kind of nonsense we are putting up with, while 300,000 people are querying whether they can even do Christmas for their children this year. And we have Ebon Joseph, who rose to fame, by the way, over a waiter, I think he was a young waiter, in a hotel in Salt Hill, I remember it well. He poured Ribena or Maiwadi, blackcurrant, into her wine glass when she ordered red wine, and she made a big song and dance about it. She called it racism. That's how she rose to fame. And it's led her to this very prestigious title and money. This is where we are, guys. It is crazy. And people like Gary Gannon and the Social Democrats and People Before Profit and Sinn Féin don't call it out. They're not actually for the working class. They are actually for the greedy millionaire landlords. All along, it turns out they weren't really for the working class. And the last thing I'll say, I also saw an article. Jim O'Callaghan, the Minister for Justice and Immigration now, said that he is not forcing people to come here. When queried about the numbers coming here, he's trying to tackle it, according to him, on this side, but on the side of the globe and the different countries, that he's not forcing anyone to come. Maybe not, Jim, but your colleague in government at the time, Roderick O'Gorman, in 2021, did force them to come. He sent that tweet in 8 languages, advertising our very attractive asylum system. He said you would come, if anyone comes here, that you would get your own door accommodation in 16 weeks. Imagine that. So you're in the Congo now, and you see this tweet come up in your language. He sent it in 8 different languages. Wow. Ooh. Own door accommodation in 16 weeks, all health, all dental, all food, all heat, all lighting, all clothing, and I can work. And I can work and I can bring in my family. Wow. So he forced them. It's still going on. That tweet is still rippling through the globe, I'm sure. But do you know who will force migrants to come, Jim? And Jim knows this. The EU. Jim and his colleagues have signed us up to the EU Migration Pact. And Mark McSharry, a former colleague of Jim O'Callaghan's, stood up in the Dáil and warned the nation what will happen. By opting into the EU Migration Pact, the EU forevermore will dictate how many asylum seekers or migrants we are to take. And their metric is our inflated GDP, inflated by multinational companies. And worse still, one of their metrics is our low population density and our square kilometres, our land mass. Now, you can just be a third-class student to work out. It's just maths. How many, looking at Ireland's low population density and our land mass, our green fields, how many can we fit in? That is what we are signed up for. And I suggest that after watching this video, everybody, like I did the other night, write to your local TDs You have the 4 or 5 that are in your area. It doesn't take long. You could even copy and paste. What I did one email and I did it to all 4 TDs at the same time. But that has to go to them seeking an opt-out now to bring us back out of the EU Migration Pact. It is possible, and now's the time to do it, because this is absolutely shocking what's going on. So Jim says he's not forcing anyone to come. Maybe so, but the EU will. They will force, they will dictate how many we can take. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. As always, if you want to set up an X account, please do. It's fantastic. All of these things I wouldn't have seen without X. And as I say, it's the commentary. You get a feeling of what people are feeling and how they are thinking about everything. And we are not few. We are many, 82%, who were polled. God only knows how many, if they went to every door knocking, want immigration tackled. 82%. So we are many. We don't have white person syndrome. There is no such thing. It's all a load of rubbish. I look at everything in the lens of 1995. Everything. And I suggest you guys do too. So that's it, guys. If you like this video, please like, share it, subscribe to the channel if you can, and let people know about the channel. That's great, guys. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you. Take care.